angles and their measures. Ladies and gentlemen, in geometry class, what we talked about of an angle was basically the measure between the rotation of between two rays. Now, commonly, probably in geometry, you guys most likely used x as your variable. But for trigonometry, we're going to commonly use theta. But we're going to use other angles to represent. But for right now, we're going to use theta, which is, again, just another variable. All right, it's part of the Greek alphabet. But it's going to be, again, our variable that we're going to signal for measures of an angle. Now, notice that it's two rays that rotate about a vertex. And we have two sides. And we'll get into the sides here in a second. But the most common way that you guys learned how to measure angles was using degree. And degrees were kind of fine, because a lot of times, degrees are pretty common. Basically, a degree is just a unit of measure. And however, really the meaning of a degree is a little bit disputed. Why do we know what exactly the measure of degree? It's almost like disputed of, why is a foot exactly a foot? Why is an inch exactly an inch, right? Those are kind of like old. We've just been using them for so long, we don't really a lot of times think of them. Well, a degree is really equivalent to 1 over 360 of a circle, right? Because you guys know that if you guys have a circle, we're kind of familiar with this now, that there's 360 degrees in a circle. All right? And that's where a lot of the meaning of a degree comes from is, when they look back at, basically, ancient civilizations, they determined that, that there's 360 days. They used to use 360 days in a year because they noticed that the orbit, around the sun was 360. So they figured out that we had a circle. There's probably 360 of them, and we'll call them a degree. Right? So that's basically where degree came from. To me, it doesn't really it makes as much sense as why is a foot a foot? Just something we accepted and something we use, right? But that doesn't mean that's always going to be the best. However, we will be using degrees extensively in this class. However, there is another